name's Jason Fuller. Today I'm going to be giving you some hints and tips for professional kitchens, hopefully stuff that you can use at home. But before I start, one of the key skills chefs need in the kitchen is how to use knives properly. Now without over exaggerating, a knife is a lethal weapon. And too many times I see people, especially trained chefs, who don't use the knife properly. Now if you have a look here in front of me, I've got three knives. I've got a cook's knife, which is good for chopping vegetables, chopping poultry, chopping fish up. I've got a bread knife here, which is good for cutting cakes up, cutting bread. And I've got a paring knife, which is good for peeling onions, peeling oranges, peeling apples. Now with these three knives, I can really more or less do any job in the kitchen. I can do most jobs in the kitchen. One of the most important aspects about having a knife is that it's sharp. Sharp is good. Sharp allows you to use the knife to get the job done a lot quicker than you would with a blunt knife, doing it with a better finish. And if you do cut yourself, unfortunately, you're more likely to have a clean cut rather than a cut with a blunt knife. When selecting a knife, one of the most important things is when you select a knife is to have a good grip. The grip must feel nice, it must feel comfortable. If you're going to be doing a lot of work with it, it has to be comfortable. To sharpen the knife, several ways to sharpen the knife. The way to do it is to take the steel, 45-degree angle, hold the knife in a firm grip. Keep an eye on it, keep your thumb behind the guard there so it doesn't slip. Take the knife, you want the knife at about a 30-degree angle. So just run it down like that. It's always a good idea to make sure the steel is nice and clean before you think. And that, by doing it that way, there are several ways you can do it like that. There are also many sharpening tools on the market as well, which are very good. That's how I like to sharpen a knife. So, to use the knife, take the knife with a firm grip. This will always be a firm grip. Take your chopping board. Now what I like to do is I always like to put a cloth underneath the chopping board. This prevents it from sliding around and therefore avoids any accidents. Come to chop. If you're chopping vegetables, like I've got some carrots here, what you do with your free hand is you need to get your hand, like it sort of wants to be like a claw-like. Get your hand into a claw. So when you cut it, you keep your fingertips straight. Knife always away from you. You want to use just a running motion, As you do it, you're walking your fingers back as you're chopping. And if you do it this way, it's very, very likely that you're going to cut yourself. So get the claw hand like that. So I'm chopping an onion here. Always keep an eye on what you're doing. Go. Okay, so as you can see, as I'm chopping the onion, I'm more or less walking my fingers back. And that way, you're not going to round like that. Keep the fingers straight. Walk the fingers back as you do it. Again, if the knife is nice and sharp, you're going to get the job done really nice and quickly. With a blunt knife, you really are going to make hard work for yourself. So everyone go. So, for example, you need to have the claw hand if you're chopping stuff like julienne, finely diced, where you're really looking for a finish of the vegetable that's going to enhance the dish. Because something like julienne will normally go into a sauce, or you're going to do dice. That's a garnish that you're going to be using a sauce, nice vibrant colours. Or the julienne, for example, in a restaurant, is going to go under a bed of something. And also, it needs to be quite uniformly cut, so when you cook it, it also cooks in the same amount of time. So that's sort of brunoise. So there you go. So as you can see, I'm using my claw hand, I'm walking the fingers back. I've got a firm grip on the knife, and the knife is doing all the work, so it's nice and sharp. After finishing with the knife, give it a good wipe with a clean cloth. This avoids getting any dirt from the steel onto the knife and obviously contaminating any food that you're going to chop. Next, I'm going to use a paring knife. This is great for peeling onions, peeling oranges, peeling small stuff like garlic. With garlic, what I like to do is I like to soak the garlic in some hot water. This makes it easier to peel and take the shell off. You can crush it. There's various ways you can do it. You can use a garlic crusher. Personally, I like to put it in hot water. Take it out like that, so you've got the clove like that. You can do the same with onions. You can get some really strong onions, like Spanish onions, and they're so strong they make your eyes water. But one way of reducing that is to put the onions into hot water again. And again, this just reduces the eyes watering and, you know, getting the water in your eyes and everything. It's a bit of a nightmare, especially if you're peeling a bag of onions like I might have to do in the kitchen. So that, and I've used a paring knife, and the thing with the paring knife is always peel towards you. Too often I see people doing that, they're pointing the knife at themselves like that. This is a complete no-no. For obvious reasons, you can end up stabbing yourself or stabbing somebody else. And again, peeled it like that. I'm going to chop the onion now. Again, firm grip. Remember the claw. Again, claw like that. Run the knife gently through it. Keep your eye on it at all times. Now, keep your knife, your fingers on top of the onion like that. Do that. Just a gentle movement. You see how easy the knife glides through the onion because it's nice and sharp. Like that. Good way of crushing garlic. What I like to do, put the heel of the knife onto the garlic. Obviously be careful, your palm is nowhere near the blade. Like that. And then what I like to do, a really good tip, is to put salt onto the garlic and then run your knife over it. Run your knife through the garlic gently, and what the salt really does, it helps to activate the oils in the garlic and helps you to kind of get a grip on it as well. So as you can see here, so this really helps to release all the oils in the garlic. Especially with the sort of style of cooking that I like to do, sort of Mediterranean, Spanish cooking, this is essential because I want as much flavour as possible in the garlic. So there you go. So there you go, and that is crushed garlic. A few tips on knife safety and what not to do. Always, you're going to walk around the kitchen with a knife. Hold it down by your side at all times. Too often I see chefs walking around like this, especially if they've upset somebody, but no, that's a no-no. Also, so it must always be down by your side. Too often I see chefs trying to have a conversation, articulating themselves with a knife like that. Again, that's a no-no. Always down by your side. When you finish with the knife, never ever drop it into a bowl of washing up liquid so nobody sees it there. Sometimes if that happens, people are going to drop their hand in there and they're not going to know it's there. When you finish with the knife, you've cleaned it, pop it into a drawer, pop it somewhere, store it safely. Don't store it above height, it needs to be stored in the proper place as well.